We have such sights to show you. Step inside the vault where the horror calls. Tim's horror vault. The terror never stops. Enter the vault. Enter the vault.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to The Vault, where we have such sights to show you. I'm Tim, your Vault Keeper, and this is our very first review for the channel. Today we'll be talking about the new movie Evil Dead Burn. This will be a spoiler review, so I'll do a non-spoiler section first, giving my overall thoughts, and then we'll go full spoilers and go more in-depth on what I thought of the movie. Evil Dead Burn is the latest entry in the Evil Dead franchise, directed by Sebastian Vanacek. It stars Cehulia Yacoub as Alice, Hunter Duhan as Joseph, Lucien Buchanan as Thea, Errol Shand as Edgar, and Tandy Wright as Susan. The story follows Alice seeking solace with her in-laws after the loss of her husband. As one by one they transform into deadites, she discovers that the vows she took in life survive even in death. So I'm going to come right out of the gate, and I'm going to say this is definitely, in my opinion, the most disappointing of all the Evil Dead movies in the franchise. Before this, Evil Dead Rise was probably my least favorite. Even though there was a lot of good things about it, I thought that Alyssa Sutherland was a great and memorable villain as Ellie the Mother. More on her later. The cinematography was decent with a few camera shots that I thought was very creative, like the massacre through the door peephole. This movie, Evil Dead Burn, it had none of that charm. The characters in this movie aren't interesting at all, with basically no personality. Thinking back, I don't even think that I can remember anyone's name without reading the synopsis. Everyone is just so forgettable and bland. There is some subtext with domestic abuse in this movie, and the subtext was not subtle at all. I heard coming into this movie that, holy shit, a trigger warning is needed for the domestic abuse angle, when in all reality we had one beginning scene of the main character's husband yelling at her and being a complete asshole. They might have shown very rapid cuts throughout the film of some abuse and a scar she had on her stomach later, but that's about it. For the main character, that's really all we even know about her. Abuse can't be your entire personality. This is a very ugly looking movie. There is very ugly cinematography done for this movie. The Deadites also don't really have any personality outside of, tell me where the certain item is or I'll kill you. Forgettable villains. It's night and day comparing these villains to someone like Mia or Ellie from the previous Evil Dead films. It tries to rely on the blood, gore, and violence, but it basically has no soul that we can latch onto. If you have no character that you want to root for and don't want to see die, then why are we even watching this film? The CGI at the end of the movie is also just terrible. The gore was pretty good when it was actually practical effects. There are a couple of lore additions to the world that could be interesting in the future, if they use it. The end credits scenes are completely lackluster, and one of them is completely dumb from a story standpoint. And as I review movies on this channel from here on out, you'll learn that, to me, story is the king in my eyes. Without story, you have nothing for a movie. For me, this is the most definitely and the most forgettable Evil Dead movie in the whole franchise. I'm giving Evil Dead Burn a 2-star rating, or in my rating section, you're going to need a bigger boat, which is disappointing with only a few redeeming qualities. Now, if you want to avoid spoilers, that's my overall non-spoiler take. Now, if you've already seen the movie, let's get into the spoilers discussion. Alright, spoilers from here on out. Here are some of the things that absolutely just fucking pissed me right off and took me out of the movie. The Deadites, at least at the start of the movie, that is completely forgotten about for the majority of their runtime, have some brand new abilities we've never seen before. They can now set things on fire just by touching them or just looking at them. At the beginning, when they show Alice's douchebag husband die in a fiery car accident, it is shown that the Deadite that caused the crash with its mind lights the car on fire. When the hell did Deadites get pyro abilities? Next, there is a couple of fishermen on a dock. Both fishing poles end up getting pulled into the water, and suddenly the fishing lines from both poles shoots out of the water magically and wraps around the guy's neck, pulling him in with the hooks attached to his face. From 15 feet from the dock. So now Deadites can move objects with their minds? Are they wizards? When the fuck did that happen? And to top it all off, the Deadite even heats up the entire lake to a boiling point to kill him. It felt overpowered and took me out of the movie. And did they ever even try to use these powers again? Of course not. Hell no. Unless you count the Deadite of her husband lighting on fire the entire wedding arch outside the house. Again, so subtle about the abuse angle. One of the only attempts at comic relief in this movie was from the grandmother character who suffered from Alzheimer's. And trust me, not a single joke landed for me on anything that woman said in that movie. They fell flatter than a Deadite after Ash shot it with his boomstick. There were some pretty big plot holes in this movie too. So this movie decides to bring back the Kandarian dagger that Hunter Duhan's character has from his grandfather, who was from an order that found one of the Books of the Dead. Now these Deadites somehow knew exactly who had the Kandarian dagger, but then had no idea where it was? How would they know who had it, but then not where it was? Are they not psychic enough for both? That makes no sense. At one point in the film, after Edgar, the father, becomes possessed, he ends up outside and decides to blast a few bullet holes in his head for some reason. And then he just stands outside trying to look scary? ? I mean, if these Deadites want the dagger so bad, why the fuck is he just dicking around outside while the other Deadite is inside attacking everyone? Why did he wait so long? It felt like the movie was artificially holding him back so the characters wouldn't die too quickly from the other Deadite. It makes absolutely no sense, and it made the entire sequence really stupid. The dog gets possessed after Edgar stabs it with a fork a few times. Did the dog do anything really? No, he barked outside a few times, growled, and then basically was killed in seconds after he finally got to do something. There was another stupid part in the movie where the mother makes a deal with the possessed husband for the dagger and then starts making out with his bloody, bullet-riddled face. I mean, what the fuck is that? Then her eyes start changing color like she's becoming possessed. Only for a few minutes later, she's not possessed, and Edgar completely fucks her up by beating the shit out of her. But then a few minutes later after that, she's suddenly possessed again, and now attacking Alice. Please, make it make sense. I also don't know why everyone was bitching about how hardcore the triggering the abuse subplot was. It was very tame. The domestic abuse subplot with the lead character Alice felt completely unnecessary. If you take it out of the movie completely, it would be the same movie. You just have douchebag in-laws. The ending also felt very convenient. After the big climax where the house burns down and every one of the Deadites is dead, suddenly Alice's dead husband, who's basically skeleton now, just randomly appears like, hey, there are still 10 minutes of the movie left, and we have to beat you over the fucking head with some more of our domestic violence plot. Let's just show up for one final boss fight. Yawn. One of my absolute biggest complaints that I'm getting so sick to death of in this Evil Dead franchise is ever since Ash from the original movies and the series, why the fuck is it that every single hero has to have a saw of some kind, whether that's a chainsaw or whatever the hell kind of saw she used in this? They don't all need saws. They're not all Ash. Don't get me started on the end credits scene. Also made zero sense to me. Somehow they bring Alyssa Sutherland's Ellie back from the previous movie and she's not in pieces from the wood chipper anymore? In closing, I'm giving Evil Dead Burn a 2 stars. You're going to need a bigger boat rating. Just for a very disappointing, very lackluster. It is definitely the weakest entry in the franchise for me. But tell me what you guys think. Tell me in the comments below. That's my take from inside the vault. Until next time, stay scared, lock your doors, and remember, we have such sights to show you.
We have such sights to show you. Step inside the vault where the horror calls. Tim's horror vault. The terror never stops. Enter the vault.